rise and join in the singing of our national anthem, and then remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 89th annual commencement ceremony of Marion Center High School. 13 years ago, we started our academic journey in a time without cell phones. And I can think of no better way to commemorate this achievement in our lives than to go back to the way things were when we started. So at this time, would everyone please take out their cell phones and make sure they're turned off completely for the duration of tonight. I'd like to start things off by thanking you all for coming out here tonight. For some of you, it has taken several hours to get here, and for others, just a walk down Main Street. Many of you know each other already, whether because of birthday parties, carpooling, the PTA, and some of you don't know each other at all. But there's one thing that brings you all here together tonight, and that's these people in front of you on stage. I've had the pleasure of spending the past 13 years getting to know them and sharing many of the same experiences. This auditorium, for instance, has a special place in all our lives, whether because of the high school musicals, concerts, prom night, or the ever-lively presentations of Tom Diaz. 13 years is a long commitment to anything nowadays. That means that 72.6813% of our lives have been spent together. And I can't think of anyone else I'd rather spend it with than with these people beside me. We share many precious memories, some of laughter, some of tears, some of mushroom haircuts, yo-yos, Pokemon, and all the other fads that went through our lives. But through it all, we've stuck together. It's funny to think that after so many years of wanting school to be over and to graduate, now that we're up here, we wish we had just one more year. Tonight marks not the end of our time together, but it marks the beginning of our new lives and careers. During the course of the evening, we'll pass the threshold from the small rural school of Marion Center and out into the world of care of the world. Each one of our futures is different. We do not know when our paths will cross again, or when's the next time we'll see one of our teachers at the mall. But we do know that it is our time to embark out into the world and show it what the class of 2006 is capable of. I think we are ready to face the challenges before us and live up to our potential. It is now time for us to say farewell to all those who have impacted our lives. Thank you to everyone who has helped us on our way. Thank you to our parents for their love and support, to our friends for their dependability and happy memories, to our educators for their dedication and encouragement. Thank you all for giving us such great opportunities in high school and for preparing us as we move on to bigger and better things. Thank you for giving us the ability to accept such a great change. We will be forever grateful. And to the class of 2006, I wish you the best of luck and success, and may God bless you, each and every one, in the years to come.
Learn from yesterday, live for tomorrow. Live for today, hope for tomorrow. As we gather here tonight, we think about everything that has happened to us in our lives up till now. The last recess we ever had, our field trip to Yellow Creek, our first day of stepping into the high school, boyfriends and girlfriends, and the endless seasons of sports. Let us take a look back, grade by grade, at our most memorable moments in the past 13 years of our lives. Remember when Nikki nearly fell off the rock and Tessa tried to help her and got blood all over herself?
And then when kindergarten came to an end, we all put our bowls with the paper plate on our heads and had our very first graduation.
As we moved on to first grade, we encountered a few new teachers. Mr. Bittner was one of them. He was so mad at Ron Stewart that he flipped his desk over.
Mrs. Broskin was another teacher that we all loved at Rain. She let us take home bears and write journals about them. But the best thing in our class was the igloo. Josh Wells, Bobby Krause, and Kaylin Kowchuk were pretty greedy and would never let anyone else in there with them.
Tashina Wolf in Cherish Kitchen would find toads at recess and bring them back into the school, while Scott Ryanbold would play with all the girls' hair. In second grade, Nicole Bazzelli told some students a story about Bloody Mary. She claimed that if you went and looked in the mirror and said Bloody Mary, her face would appear. She then told Dan Fleming if he did it, he would die.
When book gets started, we love the new exciting way to get your parents to go to Pizza Hut. Plus, you got a cool pin to put stickers on it. It was always a competition to see who could get the most.
As third grade came around, we got to take a few classes that we could express our individuality through art and music class.
We got to sing and learn about music in Mrs. Hood's class, but we always made sure we had to just clap with 2 fingers.
And Mrs. Runyon taught us about perspective and how to clean our paintbrushes the right way.
Bobby Krause decided it was okay to have more than one girlfriend. Tessa Peterman and Taylor Mabin were chosen.
We would also have to stand in 2 lines, and everyone would fight about who got to be in the front. If you had the right color on, you could be in the front, but the kids that had the wrong color on were at the end.
As we entered 4th grade, we had to say goodbye to Santa's workshop.
We got to hatch baby quails and take care of our butterflies.
Brianna Taylor, Tessa Peterman, and Jenna Satosky all had American Girl dolls. You weren't cool if you didn't have one.
Another thing that was popular was gymnastics. Amanda Griffith was by far the best, but one day she fell off the monkey bars and had to get stitches in her chin.
Some students may recall daring Stephanie Shaner to eat some flies during silent reading time.
The teachers stood outside and waved to us as we left on the last day of elementary school. At Rain, Mrs. Marshall claimed that the year wasn't over until the fat lady sang. She jumped on her desk and started belting out notes.
In 5th grade, one of our favorite teachers, Mrs. Stiles, or as we like to say, Mama Stiles, told us a story about not putting pencils in your mouth. She said that it would get lodged in your throat and there would be blood everywhere. Well, Cherish Kitchen didn't cope well with this story and she passed out.
Mrs. Hall thought that playing Willie Nelson would help us learn. Christy Bunyak, Ashley Mears, and Nicole Bazzelli got some candy stuck up their noses in science class.
Eating Kool-Aid packets was an everyday occurrence for the boys, especially in the bathrooms.
And after a long game of football at recess, we were only allowed to drink out of the water fountain for 3 seconds. Mrs. Smith and Mr. Butterbaugh were always there counting to make sure.
Yo-yos, braces, and big glasses were a must-have. The popular snap bracelets were banned when teachers saw students slapping each other with them.
Our very first class meeting came about in 6th grade, only because Emily Davison, Ashley Mogul, and Amanda Griffith tried to pierce their belly buttons in the bathroom. And every day a new person's name would be added to the list on the bathroom wall.
This year is the year for trouble. Dan Fleming had to write part of the dictionary verbatim for looking through a hole in the wall.
Our musical this year was Thumbelina, and everyone was amused when David Mabin missed his cue to come on stage because he was watching a movie.
And the best game to play in the gym was dodgeball, but it was abolished after this year.
We had a band called the Shooting Stars. It consisted of a few talented girls. They all had matching shirts and everything.
Somehow the fish tank in Mr. Keith's room kept changing colors every day. I'm sure he was wondering why all the colored pencils kept disappearing.
As the year got closer to an end, we got excited to go out of state for a field trip to SeaWorld. Brian Potts and Amos Rankin weren't allowed to go. But they followed us anyway, and we weren't allowed to talk to them.
As As 7th grade started, so did swimming cycles, but the girls would always have that same excuse. It's a girl problem, Mrs. Blystone.
And Amanda Griffith made Adam George cry in the hall one day. She decided to hit him in the head with her book.
In one of our classes, Mr. Crusoe got so mad, he even cracked the chalkboard.
As basketball started, Whitney Modern became Whitney Mohorn, and those girls won every tournament they played that year.
By the middle of the year, a new girl came to town, Brandy Stefanski, and everyone wanted to be her friend.
8th grade was the year we got the title of worst grade in the school. We gave Miss Runyon a hard time in her English class. Sam Nastes, Nicole Bazzelli, Christy Bunyak, Kayla Howes, and Adam George got sent to lunch detention all on the same day.
And not long after, Amanda Griffith, Ashley Mears, and Christy Bunyak skipped band one day and were chased down the hall by an angry teacher. Mrs. Lowe taught our 2nd and 3rd languages. Latin and German were fun, but not as fun as our commercials.
Shimmer Shine was the new type of shampoo, and the dating game was hot. Sam Nastes was the eligible bachelor, and Nicole Bazzelli was his winner.
It was all fun and games until we found out where we were going on our field trip. Instead of Hershey Park, we ended up going to Yellow Creek. Not very many people went, but Alicia Glasser and Kaylin Kowchuk had fun jumping in the freezing water trying to catch little fish.
This was also the year that boys asked the girls to be their girlfriends. Kayla House turned Caleb Griffith down.
As the year was almost over, the teachers in the high school were warned about us, and they were all nervous about going to the high school.
9th grade was very scary the first day. We were all scared about getting lost and not being on time to our classes.
The one class that was more fun than any of the classes were foods, especially when Mrs. Keith wasn't there. One day, first period, Joe Rhodes, Tim Hood, Christy Bunyak, Kaylin, and I decided to eat some of the food. Mrs. Keith returned, and she was shocked to see that her baking chocolate was missing.
English class was exciting with Mrs. Freddy, writing endless journals and watching her rest her book on her stomach while she used her hands to explain things. She could never understand why all the teachers in the middle school didn't like us. We sure did miss her when the year was over.
In 10th grade, we got used to the changes and everything was a lot easier, except being late actually counted against you.
Gym classes were a bit better till the day Tess Peterman broke Nicole Watkins' nose. The funny thing was they were on the same team.
Bio class was by far the best with Mrs. Wilden. We got to make babies by just flipping a penny. Then we had to draw what they were going to look like. Let's just say we hope our real children don't turn out that way.
We also had one other class that helped us in our remaining 2 years of high school, Career Challenge. Mrs. P taught us a lot about using our resources when it came to picking a career.
By the end of the year, most of us were finished with driver's ed and were very excited to start driving.
As 11th graders, we felt a lot older and more powerful. So powerful that Tiffany Corman and Chad Martin thought that they could get away with reckless driving, coming home from a basketball game. Chad was so scared he couldn't even tell his parents what happened, so he got Caleb Griffith to do it for him.
As our first chem lab started, we were so nervous that we wouldn't be able to finish them in one period. Joe Rhodes and John Ronner took matters into their own hands with one experience where the liquid shot out and hit the ceiling.
The fear of breaking a test tube, a beaker, or a thermometer worried us because we would have to pay for it. But we all thought that maybe since Mr. Petrosky didn't know our names always saying Lab Table 2A, he wouldn't know it was us.
Then as juniors, we could be involved with the Powder Puff football game.
We knew it was going to be hard, but we knew we could beat the seniors, and we did. Nikki Neely led our team as quarterback, and some probably saw Hannah Sweet take out the senior team's captain. It was the first time the juniors ever won against the seniors.
As the year came to an end, we were so excited to finally be the big bad seniors.
As 12th grade, we understood everything there was to understand about being in the high school.
We knew all the tricks about going for breakfast and coming in late, even though we would get in trouble anyway, and we finally knew the meaning of a senior skip day.
Kayla House seemed to realize her previous mistake and said yes to Caleb Griffith.
As we got to take classes with Mrs. Wilden again, AP Bio was a favorite choice. Christy Bunyak did an interesting impression of photosynthesis, and everyone was jealous of the Christmas tree they had. But our 8th period anatomy and physiology class was behind in second.
The section of the sheep brain and our little fetal pigs was quite interesting, even though Tessa Peterman couldn't even cut hers open without crying.
Powder Puff football came around, and we defended our title, making us undefeated thanks to our wonderful senior coaches, Kurt Fairman and Zach Martin.
Dodgeball returned with a huge tournament to help build the Health and Wellness Center.
We also have an amazing team of senior boys, Sam Nastes, Kyle Blair, Chip Harbert, Ron Stewart, and Scott Reinbold. They placed first in Quiz Bowl this year. Miss Nesbitt and Mr. Petrosky taught them well. They also competed in the Scholastic Scrimmage and began calling themselves the Quizbowl Mafia.
Lance Phillips was a new addition to our class just this year. There was a lot of talk before he got here. Not long after his arrival, he stole Ashley Mears' heart.
And who could forget the band trip to Florida? Adam George, Kyle Blair, and Brian Blair dressed up in togas, aka bed sheets and belts. Even if you didn't attend the band trip, you probably saw the pictures.
And who can forget the Kennywood trip? The GPS took us around in circles, and the karaoke on the way home was interesting. Then Wilm's AP Bio class started our countdown on her door, but no one could tell us when our last day was. Finally, we realized when our last day of practice was. The extra numbers came off the door, and the seniors finally realized that they were graduating.
Looking back on our best memories can bring happiness and closure towards graduating. By remembering the past, we are now ready to look towards the future. Graduating here tonight, we are all ready to take the next step. The knowledge, friendships, and memories that we have gathered in this place have prepared us for the rest of our lives. No matter where we end up or what we will be doing, we will always have the little memories of being here together as the class of 2006.
About 44 years ago, Richard H. Lee, our guest speaker, was sitting in the same position that we are all sitting in as seniors, waiting for the time when we can walk out those auditorium doors and be considered graduates. Well, here at Marion Center, Mr. Lee was active in many extracurricular activities, including bus patrol, wrestling, track, the Projectionist Club, where he was vice president his junior year, Centrorama staff, where he is the business manager his senior and junior years, as well as performing in the junior class play. After graduating, he went on to acquire a Bachelor of Arts degree in economics from Indiana University of Pennsylvania and a Master of Public Administration degree from Pennsylvania State University. Afterwards, Mr. Lee went on to work for the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania for nearly 30 years. 9 of those years were spent working in the Office of Budget, but for most of his career, he was the director of the Bureau of Long-Term Care Programs for the Department of Public Welfare. There he developed and oversaw medical assistance reimbursement and policies for nursing homes and pre-admission assessment. He also played a large role in developing a strategy for providing long-term care services to Medicaid recipients. After working for the Department of Public Welfare, he moved on to become the Director of Government Services for ZA Consulting, a nationally recognized consulting company where he specialized in Medicaid consulting. While there, he also helped several states initiate intergovernmental transfer programs. He worked at ZA for 3.5 years before accepting the position he holds today, Deputy Secretary for Quality Assurance in the Pennsylvania Department of Health. With this position, he is responsible for assuring that healthcare facilities and managed care organizations comply with state and federal regulations. Aside from work, Mr. Lee takes the time to lecture on Medicaid and quality assurance issues all over the nation. Today he is here with us as the class of 2006 graduation speaker. So without further ado, I present to you Mr. Richard H. Lee.
Thank you very much for that kind introduction. I had forgotten some of my exploits while at Marion Center, and obviously the research department here is excellent. Congratulations, class of 2006. You've reached a very significant milestone in your lives, and you're about to embark on a fantastic journey into very uncharted territory. Throughout this journey, you're going to find happiness, you're going to find reward, disappointment, and most of all, surprise. You will be confronted with situations and events that you cannot even begin to imagine. These situations will both thrill and frighten you. Some of you will adapt to these situations very easily, and some of you will adapt only with difficulty. But you all will adapt because you must. The best preparation for your journey is a clear recognition that the only thing that you can count on is change. When I sat in the chairs you now occupy, the world seemed to be very static and predictable. I can report to you that I was dead wrong, and it didn't take long for me to recognize that my confidence was no more than misplaced ignorance. Let me share with you some of the thoughts that were going through my head as I sat in your place 44 years ago. I was confident that I knew all that I needed to know and how to succeed and prosper. I was confident that the world in 50 years would look about the same as my world on that day. I was also confident that the road ahead of me would be smooth and comfortable, without surprises, twists, or turns. I could not have been more wrong about what lay ahead. Let me give you some examples. In the field of technology, computers were then large, complex devices that were operated only by governments and the very largest corporations. Yet with all the size and complexity of these machines, they had less computing power than today's shirt pocket scientific calculator. Today, none of us can even go to the grocery store without using computers. The electronic fuel system in your car, barcode scanners at checkout, and the use of debit cards are all part of the simple process of buying a box of cornflakes or a carton of milk. In the area of medicine, polio was a disease that was feared by parents and physicians alike. The horrible disease of HIV/AIDS was not yet a reality. Today, polio is fundamentally conquered worldwide, and yet HIV/AIDS ravages large numbers of people in all countries. In the political arena, persons of color were systematically denied the most fundamental of human rights. Now, African Americans and Latinos are a potent political force, and both political parties are actively seeking their votes and their endorsement. A social and economic change is the empowerment of women. When I graduated, women were basically expected to become homemakers with the exception of 2 or perhaps 3 professions. And many women, most women I would hasten to add, did not seek full-time employment outside the home. Now, women occupy positions as leaders and managers in every aspect of commerce and politics. There are many other examples of change that I could offer to you tonight, but I think the point is well made. The question is, how does this affect you, the class of 2006? You are responsible for the quality and comfort of your journey through life's changes. The choices you make will determine your destiny. Let me offer you some suggestions on how I think you should prepare. Get as much education as you possibly can on any subject, as often as you can. I hate to be the first one to tell you this, but unfortunately, your schooling is not done. It is only beginning. Second, be curious about your world. Never quit learning about the things around you. Third, anticipate new technology. The employees at Kodak thought that they would work in the film business forever. We all know they do not. U.S. steelworkers believed that the center of the international steel industry would always be in Pennsylvania. That is also incorrect. Fourth, welcome change as an opportunity. If you resist change, someone else who does not resist change will reap the benefit. Most importantly, set some life goals for yourself. If you do not, you will wander aimlessly, buffeted by forces you do not control. I think the goal-setting process is something I want to spend just a bit more time talking about. If you do not know where you're going in life, any path will get you there. Without goals, when you reach my age, and I know that that seems an impossibility to all of you sitting over here, but it will happen, you will look back over your life and you will conclude that even though you were very busy and fully occupied, you did not accomplish any of the things you really wanted to do. Goals should be driven by both your talent and your passion. And I think it's important to recognize that they must include more than just employment opportunities. You are all members of a community, so family hopes and community needs should play an important part in setting your life goals. Volunteer for something. Seriously consider public service career opportunities. In conclusion, your parents, teachers, and staff at Marion Center have done their very best to prepare you for your journey. But ultimately, you, and only you, are responsible for where you go and how you get there. If you take only one thought away from here tonight, it should be this. You learn life's lessons by having experiences. You gain experience by learning and making mistakes. You make mistakes by taking informed risks. Do not be afraid to learn about and try something new, and do not be afraid to fail. Now, get out there in the world and make a difference.
At this time, I wish to invite Mr. Lee back to the podium. Beginning with the 1987-88 school term, the Student Council has been recognizing alumni of Marion Center Area High School who have distinguished themselves by advancing in their professional careers to positions of tremendous responsibility and commitment. Mr. Lee is the 19th recipient of our Wall of Fame Award, and we have a plaque for him which reads, "Presented to Richard H. Lee, Deputy Secretary for Quality Assurance, PA Department of Health, graduate MCAHS 1962, MCAHS Wall of Fame, inducted June 8, 2006. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I very much appreciate this.
Okay, verifying that all of these students have met the graduation requirements for the state of Pennsylvania, it is my pleasure to present the class of 2006 to Mr. Fregley, our superintendent, to Mr. John Johnson, our school board president. Mr. Fregley, would you please come to the podium?
Good evening. Thank you for coming this evening to support our graduating seniors. In preparing my brief remarks for this evening, I was sitting at my desk the other night. My wife came over and said, how long is that going to be? I told her, and she said, you can't do that to the seniors. So my comments tonight are abbreviated quite a bit. I am thankful every day for the challenges and experiences my grandparents and parents gave me early in my life. My grandparents were immigrants who came to this country to find a better life, not necessarily for themselves, but for their families and for future generations. They were miners, farmers, laborers. They worked very hard and took pride in doing whatever was needed to get the job done. Their strong work ethic, their shared insights and lessons from their life have had an enduring influence on my life. One of my grandparents' favorite sayings to me was, "Give the world the best you have, and the best will come back to you." Seniors, every day you can learn something more about who you are and all the potential that's hidden inside you. Every day you can choose to become more than you have been by looking inside yourself, by testing new possibilities, and by searching for what matters the most to you. While doing some research for a journal article I'm writing, I came across some thoughts written by high school seniors throughout the United States on what matters most to them as they approach high school graduation. These are some of their reflections. Chris, an 18-year-old young lady from Colorado, writes, "What matters for eternity is that you be someone special, not just do something special. To try to change the world, we have to be great people, not just great at what we do, but great in whom we are. Then and only then can we be those individuals who change a neighborhood, a city, a nation." Nick, 18 years old from Texas, writes, "I want to talk about the future. Each generation faces problems, and ours is no exception. Social Security could be bankrupt in our lifetime. The country faces a monumental national debt, and millions worldwide are infected with AIDS. It's not really a matter of whether or not we will be challenged, but rather how will we rise to the challenge." Alvin, 18 years old from California, writes, "Success is not how high our GPA was. Success is not how high our salaries will be. Success is not how many things we possess. Success is knowing we have the power to do anything we set our minds to, and then working hard to accomplish our goals. Awards can be revoked, salaries can be reduced, but knowing we have the potential to accomplish anything can never be taken away from us." I am sure many of you, as you reflect on your own life experiences over these years at Marion Center, share similar feelings as these students from across America. To you, the graduates of Marion Center, class of 2006, I offer my congratulations as your superintendent, and my gratitude for your commitment, for challenges conquered, for projects completed, for goals reached. You, your parents, and your friends should be very proud today and very hopeful for all the possibilities of this new age that are open to you. 21st century America belongs to you. Take good care of it. As I did for last year's seniors, I will leave you with a quote from a famous explorer who embarked on many journeys and faced many challenges, Mr. Spock from Star Trek. "Seniors, live long and prosper." Thank you. And now, with the power invested in me by the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania as Superintendent of Marion Center Area School District, I accept the class of 2006. At this time, I would like Mr. Johnson, our school board president, and Mr. Kornman, our school board vice president, to come up to the podium. Would our salutatorian, Sam Naste, please come forward for your diploma?
Sam, congratulations. Well done.
Congratulations, Sam. At this time, would our valedictorian, Kyle Blair, please come forward? At this time, Mr. Johnson and Mr. Corman will now assist with the presentation of the diplomas.
Row 1. Megan Anthony. Megan Barelick. Ashley Black. Brian Blair. Tabitha Blystone. Shane Bronson. Christy Bunyak. Nicole Bazzelli. Joshua Charlton. Tiffany Kornman. Tori Caruso. Emily Davidson. Emily Eisenhart. Brittany Fairman. Kurt Fairman. Row 2. John Faulkner. Daniel Fleming. Jamie Forsyth. James Fulton. Adam George. Chad Getty. Alicia Glasser. Amanda Golick. Amanda Griffith. Caleb Griffith. Mary Gwynn. David Harbor. Jacqueline Hart. Timothy Hood. Kayla Howells. Heather Johns. Row 3. Kendra Keller. Amy Kemp. Max Kinter. Adrian Kirby. Andrew Kirk. Cherish Kitchen. Erica Knox. Sierra Cordell. Kaylin Kowchuk. Robert Kraus. Bradley Kunkel. Lee Lippert. Thomas Livingston. Pamela Lockhart. Jason Lusick. Melissa Lynch. David Mabin. Taylor Mabin.
Row 4. Chad Martin. Zachary Martin. Sally McPherson. Ashley Mears. Ashlyn Miller. Ashley Mogul. Christy Morris. Whitney Modern. Justine Nanny. Timothy Neeler. Nicole Neely. Nicole Park. Tessa Peterman. Lance Phillips. Natisha Plyler. Brian Potts. Row 5. Savannah Potts. Edward Razanowski. Amos Rankin. Jonathan Reinard. Scott Reinbold. Joseph Rhodes. Brianna Robertson. Tracy Sorokin. Deanna Scalise. Samuel Schreckengast. Amanda Schur. Stephanie Shaner. James Shellhammer. Cody Shepard. Brandy Safinsky. Jenna Satosky. Amanda Smith. Kimberly Smith. Row 6. Andrew Starr. Ronald Stewart. Hannah Sweet. Brianna Taylor. Jeremy Taylor. Mark Thomas. Justin Thornsberry. Seth Timlin. Corey Tost. Holly Van Dyke. Nicole Watkins. Raquel Weaver. Joshua Wells. Sabrina Winslow. Tashina Wolf. Tabitha Yeagle. Erica Yarko. Andrew Zalochik. Row 6, please be seated.
This time, I'd like to ask the class of 2006, would you please rise one more time? Ladies and gentlemen, class of 2006, through the power vested in me by the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania and the Marion Center Area School Board, I now pronounce you graduates of Marion Center Area High School.
didn't know much of love, but it came too soon. And it was me and you, and then we got real blue. Stay at home talking on the telephone, and we would get so excited and we'd get so scared, laughing at ourselves, thinking life's not fair. And this is how it feels. As we go on, we remember all the times we had together. And as our lives change from whatever, we will still be friends forever. So if we get the big jobs and we make the big money, when we look back now, will our jokes still be funny? Will we still remember everything we learned in school? Still be trying to break every single rule? Will little brainy Bobby be the stockbroker man? Can he ever find a job that won't interfere with the tan? I keep thinking that it's not goodbye. Keep on thinking it's our time to fly. And this is how it feels. As we go on, we remember all the times we had together. And as our lives change from whatever, we will still be friends forever. Friends forever. Will we think about tomorrow like we think about now? Can we survive it out there? Can we make it somehow? I guess I thought that this would never end, and suddenly it's like we're women and men. Will the past be a shadow that will follow us round? Will these memories fade when I leave this town?